Hello, this is a kind of test. I don't seem to be able to make very long videos, so this will just be me reading a poem, which is probably all that this camera can manage. It's very old, like its owner. I'll be putting longer audio files up as I make them, and there'll be some other short videos. Sorry about my face, only one I've got. And you're not as sorry as me, but it's a minor problem in these days. Be kind, wash your face. When I think of flu, I don't touch myself, I don't touch anybody else. Thing to have in your head. Yeah, here goes. Wolverine of Montreal. Be kind, people. It will get you through quite a lot. Not everything, but quite a lot. The Wolverine of Montreal. The Wolverine of Montreal was neither beautiful nor small. He could not write, he could not read, he'd never really found the need. But with his shiny, grimy claws, he'd scratch out drawings on cave floors and sometimes paint with grease or mud or pints and pints of weasel blood. The Wolverine of Montreal had no friends anywhere at all, and sometimes paused to wonder why. Perhaps I'm really very shy. I'm never horrible or bad. I just eat people when I'm sad, or when I'm hungry, tired or wet, or if they've made me feel upset. The Wolverine of Montreal once had a hunter come to call, a clever man with traps and chains and waterproofs in case it rains. We found his guns and both his sleeves left out under some aspen leaves. He may live still in some quiet spot, but on the whole, we all think not. The Wolverine of Montreal began to creep, began to crawl. He sneaked and snarled and snookled down along the windy paths to town. He wore the hunter's tattered coat and nibbled on a quarter goat and waited till the big night fell, then smiled. He'd come to stay a spell. The Wolverine of Montreal tiptoed as snow began to fall around our streets and through our lanes and breathed against our window panes, examining our furnishings and contemplating eating things like ears and feet and tender legs, and munching eyes like soft-boiled eggs. The Wolverine of Montreal, 4 feet across and 8 feet tall, first caught the pastor and the priest who tried to exorcise the beast. "Be with me, Lord." "No, be with me more." But Wolverine raised up a paw, then ate them, grinned and gave a wink. They're both in heaven now, I think. The Wolverine of Montreal strolled off towards the old town hall, where, in a cupboard in disguise, with knocking knees and staring eyes, the mayor was hiding like a fawn and wishing he had not been born. "Oh, eat the children, eat the men, just let me go home again." The Wolverine of Montreal was in the mood to maim and maul. He took the mayor and shook him quick until it seemed he might be sick. The mayor, he cried, "Please, monster, why not make the voters into pie and just spare me?" But Wolverine sucked all his bones till they were clean. The Wolverine of Montreal swore he would mangle and appall. He'd chew on old policemen's feet, see if the postman tasted sweet. The teachers, they'd be dry and hard. The butcher's boys would smell of lard. But as the dawn drove out the night, he found he had no appetite. The Wolverine of Montreal decided not to growl and brawl. He had a headache in his chest, and what he thought would suit him best would be a nap in some soft bed, a gentle pillow for his head. But in the town we all were scared. If he was ill, nobody cared. The Wolverine of Montreal, whose name was Frank Ignatius Paul, was getting groggy hot and weak. His ears were feeling very bleak, and suddenly he thought, you know, there's nothing prettier than snow. And maybe killing isn't right, and I should get some rest tonight. The Wolverine of Montreal leaned up against the white stone wall we'd built around Miss Minkin's place because she had a sad, pale face, which made us have unhappy thoughts, and maybe even colds and warts. She had no child or husband yet. She didn't even keep a pet. The Wolverine of Montreal reached out and gave her bell a haul and called Miss Minkin, made her start and set a glitter in her heart. She spent her little life alone beside her silent telephone. She called him in and held his hand. Oh, Wolverine, I understand. The Wolverine of Montreal got earmuffs and a silver ball and chocolate ants and purple spats and slippers that looked just like cats. Miss Minkin gave him all he chose, and he gave her a scarlet rose and all his heart and all his mind because she was so very kind. The Wolverine of Montreal saved up his fur to weave a shawl to keep Miss Minkin warm at night, and learned to read and learned to write. And since he'd calmed and wore a suit, we didn't ever prosecute for all the murder and alarm, because he'd really done no harm. The Wolverine of Montreal, who'd had no friends, you will recall, composed long poems in his head, and pale Miss Minkin often said, "My dear wise boy," and then they'd smile and sit together for a while. And then one night, when trees were grey, they packed their bags and slipped away. That Wolverine of Montreal, he had the happiest end of all. So there you go. Don't touch wolverines who've been outside. Just give them a sandwich. Speak to you in a bit. Yeah, I'll put this up on Twitter and places and my website, and we will speak again. We will get through. We will remember the things that are important. And when this is over, we will carry them with us. We will be different. Okay. See you later. Take care. Be safe. Be well.